if you've been liking any of the content on here, just feel free to subscribe. Either way, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching.
This video is just going to be going over 2 list ideas for the Custodes Dataslate. They are going to be more competitive lists. Really, you can make a lot with the 4 Feel No Pain. You can make a lot of just fun lists now with the cheapness of the Custodian Guard and how your Forge World Dreadnoughts aren't as susceptible to devastating wounds now. Like I said, this is a more competitive list, and I'll make some lists here, some fun ones that you can use against your friends. I'll have those later on in the week, but for now, this is just 2 competitive style lists. For reference, this was my tournament list before the Dataslate. It is 100 points cheaper now, but I am going to drop the Venatari just because with the Guard becoming cheaper, more protection against devastating wounds now, I just think Guard over Venatari are probably overall better. So I had the Assassin in there, which I don't have anymore, and I only had the 3 characters really were Trajan, the Inquisitor, and the Assassin. So my new lists have a lot more tools to do different things on the table and actually pressure instead of just trying to hide and hold on to objectives. Now I can actually pressure with these new lists. But yes, this was the old tournament list, the old list I used to run quite a bit, onto the other lists. So this is just the first of the list, and it's more of a variation of the tournament list I had. I'm calling it the Dyadic Legion, and I just looked up for another fancy name for 2, because it's just pretty much 2 Terminator units, 2 Warden units, 2 Guard units, and 2 Witchseekers units. So I had a Blade Champion and another unit of Wardens. I took out the Venatari and was able to fit the Guard, because everything going down 5 points, pretty much using core units for this. I'm not using any Forge World really anymore. And I think this will also do pretty good. It has lots of anti-infantry shooting with the Terminators. It has lots of staying power with the Wardens, a little bit of pressure with the Custodian Guard. Draxus can actually stay on my home field objective, use that 18-inch lone operative, and having her with 4 Custodian Guard will make it hard for people to come steal my objective. They may be able to OC me once in a while. Pretty hard for them to come in there and kill me, so they might be able to come take it, but then I'll just kill them next turn. I think that'll be a lot better than having any kind of prosecutors trying to hold on to my objective. I think a real big, strong unit in the backfield will be very helpful. So this is the first list, and I'm going to go on to the second one. The second one I like a little more, gives me a lot more tools, so I think that's probably the one I'm going to run. And it's a little different. This one's kind of quite close to my tournament list. On to the next one. This is the second list, and as you can tell from even the first list and the tournament list, there's a lot more bodies on the table. So I think this list has a lot more tools. I actually have 7 units of Custodes with the protection against mortal wounds now with the 4-up and the devastating wounds. It makes the Guard a lot more tanky, so I've decided to drop some Terminators, drop the Venatari. The one thing I also dropped is I dropped Blade Champion for Valyrian. I won't have Sleeceless Hunter or the Advance in Charge, but Valyrian with some Wardens is very hard to remove in melee. And now that I can't just get devastating wounded off the table, they may have to come in and actually try to take it. With Valyrian, it gives me essentially Armor of Content in melee, so it's -1 to your AP. So the Wardens would be -1 to AP. You could use this 2 CP to make them -1 damage, pop the 4, Feel No Pain, and then they're -1 to wound if you're higher strength and the toughness, so those will be very hard boys to take off objectives. And then I have Trajan with another group of Wardens, so another really hard unit to get off the objective. Draxus with her 4 Custodian Guards on my home field objective. I actually just have 4 Witchseekers and 4 Prosecutors this time for just running around doing objectives. 2 units of just 4 Spear Custodian Guard, so they can run around, do objectives, pressure units, have them in deep strike, rapid ingress them. And then I have 5 model unit of Terminators, and then another 3 model unit of Terminators. I can have the 3 model Terminators in deep strike. I can bring them back and behind enemy lines. It's a lot easier to fit 3 models than 5. So I can have the 5 for really dealing with big threats, the 3 for trying to deep strike, the 2 Custodian Guard units running around with their spears just putting pressure, and then I have 3 big chunky units kind of on the 3 objectives that I want to hold, and then I have a lot more pressure and secondary scoring. So I think this is going to be a great list. Demittens is bringing over some works tomorrow to try, so he wants to try some of the new changes with the work points. I'm going to try this list against them, so I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good. Valyrian's going to be the MVP, I'm pretty sure. This is probably a list I'm going to run competitively. It'll be pretty good, and like I said earlier in the video, now that all your other units are a lot more viable now. You can bring your Dreadnoughts in your list. You don't always need to bring something super competitive and super kind of points efficient as this list. This is more just a test of what these guys can really do now. Anytime else I play Demittens or anyone else, I'll probably run Dreadnoughts or something like that, because Dreadnoughts now won't just get devastating wounded off the table. Yes, they're still slow, but at least now you might make it to your target. So yeah, this is just my second list, and probably this I'm going to run from now. I think it's going to be fun. I just got this Valyrian painted up and kit bash, so it seemed perfect in time just for the Dataslate, and he's in my list now, so it all worked out well.
Then we have my boy here, Trajan, Trey, as I like to call him. He has gotten better just from the FAQ of him now ignoring modifiers, so I don't have to worry about someone, the Catan, the dirty old Catan, halving my damage and my unit's damage. He's going to cleave through Catan. He's going to cleave through anything that tries to -1 damage him. -1 his hits. Ain't happening. He's just going to cut through it. You try to armor contempt him. Not happening. He's just going to cut through it. Redemptors with their -1 damage. They try to use -1 damage, armor contempt just to take him down. Not going to happen. He's just going to cut right through that. Trajan is now a big threat. I wonder about possibly changing the Warden unit to a Custodian Guard unit, but the Wardens with Trajan is just so tanky, and Trajan makes that Warden unit so much more threatening that sometimes people will choose to ignore him or put way more resources than they can really afford to try to shift him. And now with those other units have on the table, I can now reinforce Trajan if he gets in trouble. It's now just, it's no longer, oh gosh, hopefully the 4 feel no pain once per battle from the Wardens can protect me in this fight first, can protect me from all these units. Now it's, can you deal with Trajan on an objective plus these other units putting pressure on you? So I think he's going to be even better than he was now on the other lists. Excited to use him again. I'm always excited to use him, but I'm even more excited to use him and just see what I can do with him now with the points reductions to all my other models. I think he's going to be a weapon on the table. And to go over the late champion just a little bit, that would be in the list here. He's going to have the Ceaseless Hunter, and he'll be with the Wardens. And he'll allow just me to get up onto objectives a lot faster. He can add advance and charge if I need to once per game, or anytime that he rolls an advance roll or a charge roll, he can re-roll it. So it allows me to get a lot of speed so I can get that Wardens up the table real fast. Ceaseless Hunter allows me to fall back and charge or move 6 inches if something gets within 9 once per game. So he adds a lot more versatility for speed for the Wardens and just for the entire army up the table a lot faster. So him in this list with the second squad of Wardens, a lot more board control, like having him in this list. And with Ceaseless Hunter, it does make him 150 points, so it is a bit pricey because none of the Custodian characters went down. He could be replaceable. I'll show you in the second list. There is something you can replace him with, but it's kind of up to you. He also has the Heroic Intervene for free. It's one of his abilities, so it also gives you a little bit of anti-charge threat. So if someone tries to charge maybe your sisters you have close by, you can charge his unit of Wardens into the opponent if you're real good on your Heroically Intervene. That's another tool you can use him for. A little more of a deep dive into Valyrian. He's just another shield captain really, but he's a named shield captain. He has a few more abilities that are different than a normal shield captain. He has a 6-up Feel No Pain built into him. He does have a special named weapon, Genosis. It's an assault weapon. It's pretty much the same as a spear with the shooting. 7 attacks, 8 strength, AP3 damage 2. So the AP3 is a big difference. The strength 8's not too bad because then you're wounding Space Marines on 2s, but the AP3 is big for him. So his weapon is a little more potent than the normal shield captain spear. Even his ranged attack is a little different. Instead of the normal 2 attacks, it's 3. That's not bad. So you have 3 attacks hitting on 2, strength 4, AP1 damage 2. He has his Golden Laurels ability. That is the one I was talking about. It gives you a pretty much the armor of content into melee. So anytime his unit is attacked by any melee, worsens the AP by 1. Pretty good little anti-orc, anti-infantry, anti-anything now because you have to dig them out now. You put him with Wardens, you put him on objective, you can't just shoot them with a little bit of pitter-patter or devastating wounds. You have to come dig those out. So it's going to be a lot tougher. And he also has the Hero of Alliance Gate ability. This is a once per battle round. You can re-roll one of the hits, your wounds, or a saving throw made for just this model, not the unit. So it's good for if you're attacking and you're doing him, you're rolling maybe your hits. You're trying to get some lethal hits or sustain, especially lethals. And you get a 1, well, maybe just you're going to re-roll that just to try to fish for it. You may be able to fish for a wound, but you're looking for 6s on those original hits, especially if you're going for lethal. It might be worth doing it on that. And vice versa, you could maybe save it. Maybe you think, okay, I'm not going to kill this entire unit. I'm going to get clapped back. You can save it for re-rolling a save in case maybe you think, oh, well, this guy does have precision. So you can re-roll for save. And then once per game, he also says has, so when you do re-roll that hit, wound, or save throw, you just automatically change it to a 6. So once again, it can be very good against saving against precision. Someone's trying to precision you out, you failed everyone and need that one save to save him. Well, you re-roll that and you use it once per game, change it to a 6. Oh, he's alive. So Valyrian with Warden's versatility, he doesn't have the speed that the Blade Champion does, but I think the difficulty of getting him off objective once he's on it is a lot more better for my playstyle than the Blade Champion. Who knows, maybe I'll change my mind, but for now, I think Valyrian in this list is going to be scary. This is my Kyria Draxis. She's a Imperial Agent Inquisitor. She pairs amazingly well with a Custodian Guard unit. She, on her command phase, on a 2-up, she gives her unit a 18-inch lone operative. That's not bad. It protects you against indirect fire from, maybe someone has a big long range indirect fire. Well, they can't get her. She's great for just planting on your home field objective or even on the closest objective to your deployment zone. She's great for that too. And she also has a shooting weapon that's 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, strength 4, AP 0, damage 2, but is also anti-infantry 4, devastating wounds. And she also has an ability that when she's shooting any kind of Xenos, she gives her unit and herself +1 to hit, so that weapon will become hitting on 3s. And then she has a sustained hits psychic attack, 6 attacks, sustained 2, strength 6, AP 0, damage 2. So once again, it's great for killing Marines or mid-toughness enemies, because if they, especially the devastating wounds, it just takes them off the table. And then if they fail against some of those psychic attacks, it does quite a bit of damage. And then the real combo with her is having her with the Custodian Guard, because the Custodian Guard on an objective allows you to reroll all your wounds that if you control the objective, and if not, you just reroll your wounds of 1, and then they have the once per game ability where they can the unit can shoot again. She's part of the unit, so you just shoot all those attacks again. So you can really take out some enemies that are trying to charge at you or get close to you. If they deep strike on you, or they come on a reserve and they fail to charge, you are going to nuke them off the table the next round. So I think her on my home field objective will be an amazing, amazing unit. I used to use her trying to push onto the closest objective to my home field just because I didn't have that many units. Now with the points production and the feel no pain against devastating wounds, it makes Guard a lot more viable, thus her unit more viable, and just having more units to do her job that she really wasn't as good as being a home field objective holder. She's way better being a home field objective holder than going out and trying to push to get an objective.
And I hope you guys really got some information out of it or just enjoyed the watch. Either way, thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by.